Hello friends, here we'll discuss about linear SVM or non-separable case. So we'll talk about soft margin and non-linear SVM also. Now we can see this is what our trading data, and uh, if you see this particular strip, in this particular strip the decision boundary is Bx. So this is what our decision boundary, and two parallel hyperplanes are there, and we can draw this particular decision boundary using these two support vectors. Though these two are the support vectors, we can draw the decision boundary. Now with the help of same support vectors we can draw another strip, another margin, this one. Okay, but if you see this particular margin here, misclassification is there or training error is there. So in this case, if you see this particular strip, there is no training error, so it is all pure, it is pure or no error is present. And but if you see here, two training error is there, so this is one and this is one. So definitely we should not introduce the error in between the strip. But so okay, now we have to select which one is the better. So this is what our margin, and this is the margin. So we have to take whether we should accept the small pure margin or we should accept larger margin with some errors. So we have to take decision which particular margin is better for the generalization error, for the problem. Now we can see here the decision boundary By misclassifies two trading data, okay, while Bx classifies them correctly. So this does not mean that Bx is better than By. Okay, now maybe the data x1 and x2, this is what our x1 and x2, maybe the data x1 may correspond to the noise in the training data. Now in this case By is still preferred, should still be preferred over Bx, because it has a wider margin and then is less affected by the overfitting. Okay, so if the margin is more, it is less affected by the overfitting problem. So the main objective is how to construct a decision boundary that is tolerable to small training error using a method known as soft margin approach. So here we have to apply soft margin approach to identify, to take decision which one is the better. So soft margin allows SVM to construct a linear decision boundary even in situation where the classes are not linearly separable. Okay, here there is a trade-off between width of the margin and the number of training errors committed by the linear decision boundary. So we have to take decision whether you need more margin. So more margin means what? More error, introducing more error, and definitely less generalization error. Okay, or less overfitting. Similarly, if margin is less, that means what? Training error is less. Training error is lesser. Definitely, it increases the generalization error. Okay, or it introduces overfitting. Overfitting is more. So we have to trade off between margin and the overfitting or just generalization error. Okay, so already you know the decision boundary, say Wxi b greater than 1. So if yi is equal to 1 and Wxi plus b less than equal to minus 1, if yi is equal to minus 1. So this is a plus 1 class and this is a minus 1 class. So please watch our previous video on this SVM, where we have discussed in detail how to get all these equations, what is the significance of all this. Okay, now here we introduce one variable, it is called slack variable. Okay, so here we introducing slack variable s. So it is called slack variable. A variable slack variable is introduced, then the modified equation will be wxi plus b greater than 1 minus si. Okay, if yi is equal to 1 and wxi plus b less than minus 1 plus si, if yi is equal to minus 1. And remember, for all I, the value of slack variable should be greater than 0. Now the slack variable s provides an estimate of the error of the decision boundary on the training example. Okay. Now there is a problem, there is a constraint. The question is, why should we consider only these two vector? Why not increase more the strip? So if you, as already you know, if you increase the margin, we can reduce the generalization error. So question is, why should you take this one? Why not take this one? Why not take this one as a margin, hyperplane, width of the hyperplane? Why take this one? Why not take this one? Since there are no constraint on the number of mistakes the decision boundary can make, learning algorithm may find a decision boundary with a very wide margin but misclassifies many of the training examples. So here we introduce, here we accept two training error. Why not accept more training error? Okay. Now to avoid this problem, the objective function must be modified to penalize a decision boundary with the large values of slack variables. So the decision will be, it is like that. Here C and K are user defined. Here C and K are the user defined. Okay, so we have to modify the objective function. So this is the objective function of this particular linear SVM non-separable case. So it will restrict the width of the margin. Okay, now next we'll talk about non-linear SVM. Okay, next we'll talk about non-linear SVM. We have a data. Now you can see these particular situations where two classes are there. Say this is what minus class and this is a plus class. So you can see we cannot draw a straight line to separate these two classes. So how can you draw a straight line? So here definitely we have to draw non-linear SVM must be applied. So transform the data from its original coordinate space in X into a new space phi X. So you have to transform this X to phi X, so that a linear decision boundary can be used to separate the transforming training data into classes. So here we apply some transformation, and you can see here after transformation all the crosses are in this particular part and all the circles are in this particular part. So now we can separate these two classes using the straight line. After that we can apply linear SVM. Okay, so we can take another example. Suppose here it is say X and Y, and the variables are like this, training data like this. So we cannot draw a straight line to separate these two classes. So what I can say, we can introduce another variable, say Z. So if you introduce, say this is what our X and Y, and this is what our Z, and you can see this is what our these two are our training data. Now if you transform it into here, if you put the outside of this, so the new X will be like this, somewhere here. That means what? If it is somewhere here, that means what? We can cut these two classes. So in non-linear SVM, so training data is there where the class labels are non-separable. Here we apply some transformation, where you apply some transformation. Okay, now we have the transformed data, we have the transformed data. After that we apply linear SVM and we can get the result. Next, we will talk about attribute transformation. The dataset is generated in such a way that all the X are clustered near the center of the diagram and all the O are distributed further away from the center. Now you can see one nonlinear SVM already you have seen. Now all the X are clustered in the near the center of the diagram, and all the O circles are distributed further away from the center. That means for this particular problem, and it's a very popular problem, you can see in other books or in video. So you can put yi is equal to 1 if it is more than the radius of the circle. Say x1 minus 0.5 square plus x2 minus 0.5 square, it is greater than 0.2. So let its center is, say it is 0.5 and here it is 0.5. Okay, and it is say 0.2. Okay, so the radius is 0.2. So if the radius is if the radius of this particular data is more than 0.2, that means what? It is outside the circle. So that means what? It should be the plus one class. So then it is what? Class level should be 1. Otherwise it should be the minus. So you can put 1 if here. So if class level y is equal to 1 if the data is outside the circle, otherwise the class level should be minus 1. So the decision boundary can be, okay, you can see this is what our decision boundary. This is what our decision boundary. Now the decision boundary can be, this is the decision boundary, that means it is x1 minus 0.5 square, x2 minus 0.5 square is equal to 0.2. It is the decision boundary, and if you can break it, so you can see here x1 minus 0.5 square plus x2 minus 0.5 square, it is 0.04. okay, or x1 square plus x2 square, x1 square plus x2 square minus 2 into 0.5, that is x1, minus 2 into 0.5, that means x2. okay, it should be 0.04 minus plus 0.5 square, that means what? In this case minus 0.25, and 0.5 square is 0.25, so plus 0.25. if you shift in this side, then it will match 0.25, and if you solve it, here it is minus 0.46. So finally x1 square plus x2 square minus x1 minus x2 is equal to minus 0.46 is the decision boundary. A nonlinear transformation phi is introduced to map the data from its original feature space into a new space where the decision boundary become linear. So here the original is what? x1 x2. Now we have to transform it, and now it become x1 square x2 square root 2 x1 root 2 x2 and 1. okay, that means here, that means this is what our original data. okay, and its decision boundary. Now we can convert this into the transform. This is our transform data, where this part is what? x1 square minus x1, and this is nothing but our x2 square minus x2. Now you can see now the decision boundary is what? It is linear. It is now a decision boundary is what? Non-linear. So it is what? Decision boundary. This is also the decision boundary. And the model parameter will be w, where it is w1, w1 to w4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 variables are there. So w0 to w5. So w0 for w1, w2, w3, w4. So the equation will be what? w4 x1 square for this one plus w3 x2 square for this, w2 root 2 x1 plus w1 root 2 x2 plus w0 is equal to 0. but few limitations are there. So the first limitation is for high dimensional data, this approach may be not be correct. Now here it is two dimension data. Here it is two dimension data. Okay, so here we may use a square. Okay, but if it is a 10 dimension data or 100 dimension data, so it's very difficult to identify. Second is what it is not clear that what type of mapping function should be used to ensure that a linear decision boundary can be constructed in the transformed space. Now you can see it is a simple example. It is very known example, so we can use it. We can copy it. But if the shape is very difficult, if the dimension is very high, okay, and if the separation the separation construction is very difficult, very complex, in such situations it's very difficult to identify the transformation function, okay, the mapping function. And finally, it is computationally expensive to solve the constraint optimization problem. Okay, so very difficult to solve the constraint optimization problem. Now the objective function will be what? The objective function will be minimize the W where it is square by 2 subject to yi W phi x, it is transform data, plus b greater than equal to 1 for all I between 1 to n number of data. Okay, similarly Lagrange is also variable can be used. Say we can see our previous video how we can get all these things. So alpha I, alpha j, yi, yj, transform xi into transform xj, and both x and j both are vectors. Okay, where w is equal to alpha I yi transform xi and alpha I yi summation of alpha j yj phi xj, okay, into phi xi plus b minus 1 is greater than 0. And new data can be identified like this way. Okay, and that is in this particular video. Thank you very much.